In the 1970s, a horrifying beast was let loose, preying on unsuspecting gamers. A nightmarish creature known to one and all as LJN. Oh, and they also released Jaws on the NES in 1987. So, that was neat.
Okay, since I've never actually talked about this on the channel before, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way real quick. LJN.
If you've spent any amount of time in the retro game community, especially here on YouTube, that's a name that brings about more fear than any shark ever could. Known for practically creating the trope of licensed games bad, just scorching the reputation of every popular franchise they can get their grubby mitts on. X-Men, Back to the Future, Beetlejuice, the list goes on and on. This little rainbow may as well be the equivalent of a toxic warning label. And while I am definitely not here to defend LJN, I do think there is a bit more to be said about Jaws other than it's just another LJN cash grab. Created by Westone and produced by Atlas? Yeah, that Atlas. Jaws on the NES, despite its very simple early NES visuals and pretty basic gameplay, manages to get a good number of things right. Though, to be fair, they're really easy to miss, as you'll probably be more distracted by just how oddly confusing Jaws is. If you didn't have the manual in the late 80s or early 90s, odds are you had no idea what you were doing, as this game hits you with the title screen and then just drops you straight into the deep end. No explanation, no tutorials, nothing. Except a really catchy tune. Setting sail, I know that me and my crew could not figure this one out as a kid, and as you'd probably expect, kinda led to some pretty frustrating encounters. Random encounters to be exact, because, believe it or not, Jaws probably has more in common with Final Fantasy than any of its other LJN contemporaries. Actually suffering from random battle syndrome, meaning that the cover character can't be the only creature we have to be wary of, as apparently the ocean consists of literally nothing but angry jellyfish spawning from the depths of hell, anti-Irwin torpedoes, and then of course, how could we forget, Jaws, the end boss, which you'll probably run into in a matter of minutes, actually. Okay, well, apparently an early reveal really doesn't matter all that much, as despite your best efforts to turn this shark into the world's largest waterlogged pincushion with your endless supply of spears, you're not gonna get anywhere fast. This monster is a tank, and eventually it's gonna get tired of just ferociously swimming back and forth at you and just leave. Probably out of boredom, which, yeah, I would too. Though annoyingly, it also recovers what little health you did manage to scrape off of it. That, or a bunch of baby sharks will act as meat shields, wherein taking them down triggers a bonus game, where you bomb finely choreographed jellyfish from a biplane.
What the hell am I watching?
Also, why are we not fighting Jaws like this? I vote we nuke him! Especially since this fishy bastard heals while you're doing this too. Cheap. Alright, since weapons of mass destruction are off the table, and clearly hacking away at Jaws' health bar won't do the trick either, how do we fry this fish? Well, surprisingly, it's actually pretty simple, and I honestly feel really stupid for not figuring this out as a kid. So here's the plan. Once you leave the bay, your first goal is to head over to the second bay, where you'll pick up a shark radar, which gameplay-wise is basically worthless. But it creates some amazing atmosphere. Honestly, if there is one thing that Jaws does well, it's set the mood. So hey, just make a little conversation here. I was just curious. Your profile picture. When was this taken? You look gorgeous in it. Like now. And despite the overworld map being insanely small, it works. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The music is ominous. The beeping from the shark radar adds unexpected tension, and seeing Jaws' fin surface really seals the deal. Jaws is hungry. You're not hunting it, it's hunting you. And yeah, it really wants your blood. But someone's gotta stop this monster. And if Final Fantasy has taught me anything, it's the power of grinding. Which is the main purpose of those random encounters, you know, other than padding. Mercilessly hunting the wildlife. Which, to be fair, is on them for constantly knocking me out on my boat. Taking them down caused them to drop shells, as well as other less valuable loot. Afterwards, the objective is to travel back and forth from port to port. And if you've got enough shells on you, your power will increase. And yeah, since I know you're gonna ask, no, you can't just power up multiple times if you have enough shells. You have to travel back and forth. Pro tip, keep your goggles peeled for the sub that randomly spawns off the coasts. Collecting it lets you maneuver faster, shoot cannonballs underwater, and even affords you a second hit. As you power up, the enemies will show up in greater amounts, move faster, and in different patterns. And, in a nice touch, if you were near Jaws when the random encounter strikes, it might just invite itself to lunch. Your treat.
Oh, you guys should have been there. It was epic. I pulled out the harpoon. And, hey.
Not that it's a real threat though. While I am using the term grinding, you really don't need that many shells to power up. You can take down Jaws at level 3. Everything above is just icing. Plus, Old Fish Face here really is a pushover. Literally just going back and forth. Doro! 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 Just make sure to avoid fighting on the coastline where there's little room to evade. Once Jaws' health bar hits 0, you'll get yet another minigame. That, once again, is not self-explanatory. Where you click once to make Jaws leap out of the water, and then you strike. Miss 3 times, and it's back to the overworld for you. And Jaws' health is reset to full. But if you land that blow, congrats, you beat Jaws. It really is that simple. You can actually beat this one in 10 to 15 minutes depending on your luck with the random battles. Not really much bang for your buck here. I really don't recommend seeking it out or anything. But honestly, with a cool premise, strong atmosphere, and some enjoyable tunes, it's not bad at all. Just a fun little trip in a sea of otherwise awful games.
After reviewing all the evidence, Miss Jaws, the court has determined that the plaintiff's request for a restraining order is denied.